My name's Mark Langan. I'm in the School of Science and Environment in the Faculty of Science and Engineering. I've applied directly to the Higher Education Academy for the Senior Fellowship, and I went through the university scheme here for my Principal Fellowship. I applied originally to build on the fact that I got my fellowship of the Higher Education Academy through the professional courses. I completed a PGCE, but the same applies to the PGCAP now. I wanted to continually professionally develop and receive recognition of that, and the accreditation, which is provided by the PSF scheme, is one way of doing that. It's an opportunity to sit down and think about what it is you've actually done over a period of time, how you've developed. With senior fellowship, I was looking back at quite recent history, particularly the last 3, 4, 5 years, and looking at what sort of impact I'd had. The Principal Fellowship, it was much more about strategic leadership, an institutional and a national level. And the driving force each time is to continue my professional development, to keep me thinking about practice, as well as getting the reward of being accredited and getting these letters after your name, which are useful in terms of your profile both inside and outside the institution. My advice for someone applying to Principal Fellowship is to think carefully about the case studies you're going to use. It's good if they're coherent. Another important piece of advice is how to evidence your impact, and it's worth bearing in mind as you write applications that you don't just need to document everything that you've done, because that doesn't tell the reviewer that what you've done is effective. And I think gathering that evidence is a very important part of the application. With me, I published research, so I was using my own research as evidence that it is not only gone through peer review, but it's also something that is useful to other people. I have people contact me about research, etc. And I put in there that these are how many people have cited my work, this is the universities which are using it, and also the number of countries that it's being read and cited in. So that showed an international impact as well. But I think also in terms of impact, you can use collegial statements, staff saying this works, and of course there's student survey, comments, and there's also feedback you get from work you do in terms of professional workshops. All this is a good way of bringing together with the actual research into the area which is not your own research that underpins your thinking. Drawing all that together shows a strong area that it's not just I've done all these things, but I've done all these things. They were evidence-based when I made the decision to use them. I've applied them, I've reflected upon them, and I've continued to do this. And when there's something really good to say, I've actually gone on myself and published it and run workshops myself. The second thing I would say is the referees should be carefully chosen. They're looked at, all the references are looked at, and they need to not only substantiate your claims and agree with your statements in there, but they can actually add a new flavour to any candidate's application and add a real weight behind their application. And they should be strong references, even though they're not adding necessarily that much new information. Certainly the way they're written and the evidence they draw upon it is important.